Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back some more. Oh, yeah. Oh, Crawford, you're so mean. You're the meanest damn man I ever did see. You fucking ruined an entire hobby. Now get yourself gone and don't talk to me.
Laughing aloud now, magic in the air. Wands roll around us, cast away our care. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find. Spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. That's so wizard, oh, 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 oh. Life is a spell we know. We're casting joy and glow, oh, oh. That's a wizard show.
Sweet mother of God, oh my giddy aunt, prepare yourself for a lot of foul language. Oh my fucking God, Crawford's leaving. Hit the road, Crawford. I knew he was leaving on some psychic level. I didn't think it'd be today that he'd announce he was leaving. Oh, don't worry, he's leaving on good terms after single-handedly ruining a 50-year-old franchise. But I guess he feels that Dungeons and Dragons is now in good hands, Mackenzie, that he can trundle off into the sunset following Chris Perkins and Chris Core and everybody else that is either being terminated. A comment already? He was the last yes man. I don't know who's going to be left with so much staff missing. Stock opened today at $53. That's a $5 drop from where it was this day last year and a $2 drop from yesterday. So obviously the news is already circulating. I've been checking to see if anybody else followed up on this story. Professor Dungeon Master hasn't covered it yet. Stephen Glicker hasn't covered it yet. Tanker hasn't covered it yet. So I'm the first. I thought it was a joke, but nope. Screen Rant of all places confirmed it as of an hour ago. So as of an hour ago, the head D&D architect, the man that created Dungeons and Dragons and single-handedly, completely obliterated any good will that D&D had in its community, is leaving. Thank fucking God. Publicly, yes. Privately, I don't think Perkins is. I know Crawford is very proud. Look at the smug face. He's very proud of how he took D&D and fucking ruined it. And now that he's left it a stinking pile of 2020 thing. What's this? Oh, yeah. I said that yesterday when I was talking about D&DNews, or the day before or whatever. Wizards of Coast serves no other purpose at this point in time, in my humble opinion. Now, remember, again, I have no actual connection, as far as you know, with Wizards of the Coast. I've only got one contact left that is vaguely still sort of working at Wizards, but not like what I used to have. And with only one share of stock left, my voting. But on Wednesday, I said he was leaving. And I was like, Perkins is gone. I imagine that Crawford will be gone by 2027 or later. I didn't think he'd be gone today. And so far, they haven't announced any replacements for any of them. Of course, they do have the new executive producer coming in. The fourth edition guy who doesn't have a great reputation. But yeah, they're just figureheads. They're the job of anybody working at Wizards of the Coast as of Monday is simply to be somebody we can blame shit on. And Hasbro can go, oh, it's their fault. Yeah, so anybody want to... Yeah. No, no. Dungeons and Dragons popularity will be this eventually be reduced back to 1980s, 1990s, early 2000. It is a pop culture phenomenon that will never completely go away. People will know what Dungeons and Dragons is. People will be playing Dungeons and Dragons. People will be playing other games like Star Wars or Vigilantes for SHADOWDARK. Shout out to me. But it will all fall under the umbrella of, what are you guys playing? Oh, it's like D&D. The same as it was, for anybody experiencing the D&D phenomenon. The popularity, the D&D is cool, that existed in the early 80s that influenced so much fiction and television and pop culture. And then again, we had the 2018 to 2023 super popularity, but it'll never reach that heights again. It'll go back to what it was when I was in college and high school. It was go back to what all of us associate with our best memories of D&D or any game that falls under that envelope of Dungeons and Dragons. It won't be as big as it's now. It's not to say it won't continue to be inundated into pop culture for as long as Hasbro can milk it, because Hasbro has made it perfectly clear what the plans are for Dungeons and Dragons since, 2020, that brand. And again, just as recently as a couple weeks ago, saying D&D doesn't make them money. 2025 Dungeons and Dragons, 6th edition, 5.5, the disaster, whatever you want to call it, Wizards of the Coast D20 2025 has been an utter failure financially and spiritually and in popularity. The 2025 Q1 numbers drop on the 24th of this month, but based upon the how the Q4 closed and the fact that all the money that they owe $1 billion here, $9 billion there, but Diamond owes them $9 billion. They're closing on that. So this leaves one guy who's the executive producer of Dungeons and Dragons who's just coming in. Like 3 guys working in digital. I don't know who's left in Seattle of names we recognize other than Mackenzie. And apparently she's not being considered as good company. So the future of Dungeons and Dragons is D&D Go. They're working on that. That should be ready any second now. D&D movies, D&D the television show, the interactive experience that's going to be at both Universals. I had my doubts about what the D&D Universal thing was going to look at, but our good friends Jen and Mike over at the Grim Life Collective had a sneak preview of the Dark Universe stuff that just opened at Universal Florida. And if the Dungeons and Dragons interactive experience is even 10% as awesome as the Dark Universe stuff looks, then the D&D thing will actually be way better than I thought it was going to be. Because if you guys want to go over and see the Dark Universe stuff, it's mind-blowing how cool Universal has made the Dark Universe stuff. So I have some faith that will be good. There's talks of a D&D play. There's other D&D interactive things. There is a vague rumor of a Dungeons and Dragons musical. Plus, we've got video games. We got the pinball game. We've got cross-promotional things that Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro can interact with for years and years and years without actually doing anything for the game. The game, Wizards of the Coast, I went over this. I feel like I have to go over this again. Wizards of the Coast D20, the role-playing game, as of today, is dead. Okay? It's fucking dead. Whatever roll dice product that comes out after today from Wizards of the Coast will just be embers. They've got 5 more coming out this year. Nothing scheduled or announced for next year. Crawford said that D&D 2025 only has a 5-year lifespan. D&D June 2027, D&D 6X is still a thing. We don't know what it is, but that's still a thing that's floating out there. D&D the musical. But yeah, we know they're focusing more on the brand. We know they want to refocus on Magic the Gathering and the Magic the Gathering crossover. I predicted the Magic the Gathering Sesame Street crossover. So if that ever happens, that's mine. And that will be, if they ever do a Magic the Gathering Sesame Street crossover, that'll be the thing that makes me play Magic again. Because who doesn't want Big Bird or the Count as their commander? I've been dreaming of the Dark Universe Monsterland since I was 10, so I plan on getting there this summer. Go to Grim Life Collective on YouTube, my friend, and watch Jen and Mike or Super Enthused. I'm sure Tampa J, any of the guys who do the big Universal who were invited there for the press things would have been there over the weekend. I watched the Grim Life Collective do it last night, and oh my God, I was in awe. Literally, there were times when I was like, wait, is that a person or is that an animatronic? It is so good. It is so good. But yeah, D&D the fan, D&D the fad is over. Part of me is deluded is that they're going to try their best with the last version of D&D 6S thing, but it's very unlikely there isn't anyone who care about D&D that's left there. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Video games, just anything. If you can attach the name to anything video game or anything ridiculous, it'll probably happen. And even if you're like, yeah, no, but then you have to remember 2024 brought us D&D the beard oil and D&D meat snacks. And if you go back through the old catalog, like 1980s stuff that D&D cross-promotioned with, there were some ridiculous stuff. So there's nothing that I don't imagine Hasbro will find a way to cross-promotion with. Food, yeah, I mean, I would expect a D&D pizza. I mean, they did the Magic the Gathering Hot Pockets, so D&D pizza. I'm surprised they haven't done D&D pizza yet. That seemed like a no-brainer. A D&D flavored chips, yeah. So, yes, let's go back to why Chris Perkins and Crawford feel that they can leave now. Why do Jeremy Crawford feel like he can leave Dungeons & Dragons now? I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact of all the money you lost. Wizards of the Coast VP of Franchise, Jess Lanslow, said that this was something that the company had prepared for. Both of them have been working on Dungeons & Dragons for a very long time. Well, Chris Perkins has been working on Dungeons & Dragons for a very long time. We're not sure what Crawford did. And it's been a point of discussion for some time, and it's something that we've been training everyone up for. So since OGL scandal, they've been talking about Crawford needs to go. They feel real good about the team that they have in place and the legacy that they're passing on. You mean the legacy you completely ruined? The timing of their departure was also deliberate, as both waited for the newly revised core rulebooks to come out before leaving D&D team. Hey, we're going to leave this fire here, okay? And we're going to go, all right? But don't worry, you guys. We've left you everything you need to put the fire out over in that closet. No, that's not gasoline and nitroglycerin. That's totally fire retardant. And we've left the most appropriate person we think to be in charge of the putting the fire out, Mackenzie, because we remember what a great job Mackenzie did with the Deck of Many Things, right? The queen of public relations, Mackenzie DeNoms. So don't worry, we're leaving D&D in good hands, guys. We feel that after everything we've done to completely ruin it, we can take our huge severance package and go off. Now, I have no problem imagining that once Chris Perkins decides if he wants to work again, doors will open for him. Penny Arcade, without a doubt, would want to work for him in some form or another, I'm sure. Other game companies that he's worked for in the past or has been associated with, Goodman Games, Cobalt, anybody that's doing anything 5e would be like, dude, come here. But he doesn't, I mean, I don't know how much money he has. I don't know how much money the severance package was, but I'm sure he is taken care of. I'm sure he was smart enough, and he has plenty of doors left open here to him. He has an extremely good relationship with Matt Mercer and the Critical Role people. So there's definitely a potential he could do stuff with them. Or maybe he won't do anything gaming related. Maybe he'll write a book. Maybe he'll just do the convention circuit. Maybe he'll take some time off and just get healthy again. I have no ill will for Perkins. He was the last best hope for Dungeons and Dragons. I have been saying for years he needs to leave, and he's leaving, and that's wonderful. Crawford, on the other hand, if like to paraphrase Eric Tanker, if I saw him on fire, I wouldn't pee on him to put him out. I'd walk across the street, take a picture, and then go, oh no, Jeremy Crawford's on fire. Help. Oh, sorry, Mr. Crawford. I'm trying. No one's coming. What's the number for 911? I'd call them, but I don't know the number, Mr. Crawford. Yeah. I mean, I'm being superficial. I don't wish ill will on the guy. I don't want him to get hurt. I don't want anybody to get hurt. Well, except for maybe one, condor. But I mean, yeah, I just don't want him to see any association with the industry ever again. And I can't imagine he's going to be very popular. But yeah, I did not see this coming. Will the D&D roadmap be affected by Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford's departure? Imminent departures will not impact plans for D&D future because we don't have one. Yeah. So basically they're saying, don't worry. We've got everything covered. We don't have anybody coming in to replace them. But they've set everything so that once they're gone, the machine can continue to run at half-assed like it's been doing. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in shock. That I'm the first person to notice this. Yep, there's no real plan to it's just licensing stuff and D&D is TV. Yeah, again, we have to differentiate when we talk about D&D. We have to, I think, at this point, differentiate into the three categories. All right, there's three categories of Dungeons and Dragons. And I think we all need to agree on that, right? From, A to Z. Category 1, Wizards of the Coast D20. Dungeons and Dragons, Hasbro's role-playing game. Life expectancy, 5 more years. As a pen and paper role-playing game, 5 more years, maybe 8 of them being able to produce stuff. I mean, technically, with the AI and the 50 years of stuff, they could infinitely vomit out 4 products a year just by having the AI gobble stuff up and then regurgitate it and call it something new. Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. Oh no, gobble, 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 50 years, crash spaceship. I mean, anything that they've got 50 years worth and any new things that get uploaded to D&D Beyond or Drive Through become instantly there. So as long as they have that, they technically have the infinite possibility to produce 4 things a year. But actual game, especially if the rumor of them shutting down Adventurers Guild is true, which now I believe a little bit more than I did 24 hours ago. Yeah, 230 by 2030, them producing a pen and paper role playing game will peter off to maybe 4 products a year that will just be regurgitated shit that nobody will pay attention to, whatever. But that's because they have no plan in continuing it. It's all, let's put it on D&D Beyond. Let's have the AI Dungeon Master. We don't want to make pen and paper because it costs too much money. D&D Player's Handbook doesn't make them any money. Peripherals make them money, right? The Xbox doesn't make any money. The peripherals for the Xbox is where all the money comes in. You know, you're not paying for the Xbox. You're paying for the fact that there's a picture of Master Chief on the Xbox. So they can charge you more, but that's profit. The Xbox alone, no profit. Player's Handbook, no profit. Wizards of the Coast makes no money off of that. Hasbro makes no money off of that, but everything else. So yeah, the role-playing game, done. People still playing, not done. It will continue long past my lifespan and probably long past any kid I know. I mean, you know, it'll eventually evolve into something else inevitably, but that name is ingrained in pop culture, which moves us on to D&D category number 2, the brand. That's not dead, and that still has a very long lifespan because it's just so ingrained in pop culture. It won't go away for a very long time. And what I mean by ingrained in pop culture, the idea of Dungeons and Dragons is just that subconscious recognition that has developed that even if people don't know what it is, they know what it is. I can say Dungeons and Dragons to somebody who's never had any connection with the role-playing game, but on some level, they know what it is. Spider-Man, Star Wars, Casablanca, Monopoly, Superman, Twinkies, Popeye, right? Just these things that are worldwide ingrained in our subconscious that instantly spark some level of recognition. That aspect of Dungeons and Dragons, the brand, is fine. Hasbro can milk that for years. They can put it on the shelf and milk it for years, like they did with Power Rangers. Fuck you for ruining Power Rangers, Hasbro. And then there's D&D, the idea. And D&D, the idea is every role-playing game is Dungeons and Dragons. In the future, every restaurant is Taco Bell, right? Because you say, what are you guys playing? And then people say, oh, it's like D&D, but it's Star Wars. Or you say, let's go play we're going to go play D&D, but what you're playing is Vigilantes for SHADOWDARK. Or what you're playing is superheroes or Old West. Every role-playing game, you could say, oh, it's D&D. So in that aspect, apparently he figured it out. I think one's for cleaning, one's for washing, one's for drying. I don't know. Yeah, so D&D, the idea, perfectly fine. We will never not be playing D&D. I don't know if anybody else has heard this. I heard this last week. I don't remember where, but it was some anthropologist who studied pop culture. Hey, let's not forget, I have a degree in anthropology. Said that inevitably something like D&D would have evolved even if Gygax never happened. So something like D&D will always exist even if Wizards of the Coast D20 no longer exists. The multiverse is real. In another reality, the OGGM is boss of Hasbro. A boss of Hasbro or a boss of Wizards of the Coast? If I was the boss of Hasbro, I'd say, fuck D&D, bring back Power Rangers, bring back Transformers, bring back G.I. Joe. And don't even touch Peppa. She's a national treasure. I'd also have to have a time machine, John, because if in order to save Dungeons and Dragons, I'd have to go back in time about 10 years. And of course, yeah. Bam. Peppa Pig. Which category 2? D&D is fine because we've got SHADOWDARK, we've got Castles and Crusades, we've got 5,000 D20 retro clones as of last count. 5,000 D20 retro clones exist in the multiverse since day one, whether it be home rules or actually printed things. D&D or D&D adjacent role playing is out there. What's Peppa Pig? If you don't know what Peppa Pig is, Death Angel Shadow, you need to get yourself the Church of Hello Kitty and Peppa Pig. So yeah, in closing, I did not expect to wake up to this morning. I was reaching over to the comptometer to do the D&D news and check out what crowdfundings are coming to an end this week, like I do every Friday. And then I saw this, which makes anything else I do today pointless. So yeah, I know there are people out there who love 5th edition. Our good friend Kenobi is one. I know there are people who were brought to D&D because of 5th edition. Despite pooping on it as much as we do, I'll send you a link to Peppa if you want, Death Angels. I loved playing 5th edition. I loved running 5th edition. 5th edition was a lot of fun. So yeah, it sucks that they had to ruin it. All hail Peppa Pig, the savior of Hasbro. That's Peppa, for anybody who doesn't know. She's like, she's up there with Hello Kitty in the icon multiverse. So yeah, it's great. And I love discovering people like Kenobi and Jeff's Games Box, and every year discovering somebody else who just loves 5e and everything that's positive about it without being shit posters on 5e like Garaby. But for the people out there like Jeannie D and Garaby and all those other people who are just, have just made something that much worse, fuck you. I'm so, forgive me, Peppa, for saying this, so fucking glad that Crawford is gone and D&D as we know it it's done. D&D is dead. As of today, Wizards of the Coast, D20, Gary Gygax's legacy is dead in all but name. And that name will be branded and marketed. I played 4E. 4E was fine. 4E had some great ideas. They just did a horrible job with it. That's a whole separate article. And that's, you could say that Wizards of the Coast has been trying to kill D&D since 3.5. 4th edition was definitely an example of them having no idea what to do with the franchise. And 5e started out great, but then spiraled into mediocrity, then got a shot in the arm because of the 2018 to 2022 golden bubble of Stephen Colbert, Stranger Things, Critical Role, Dimension 20, Community, Pandemic. But there was Pathfinder, and there's 10,000 other games to play. So, and then now it's since 2014 with 5e, they definitely have started the fuck you D&D, And then as of 2024, it was definitely fuck you D&D. And now with Crawford leaving, it's fuck you D&D. D&D's dead. But don't worry, because role-playing will be fine. I'll be personally happy to watch the fucks like Garrity and Jeannie D and all those other guys float away. And I will be on the top of my hill going, ha, I fucking told you. Ha, I fucking told you. I didn't see this coming. I did. I've seen this coming since 2020 when they told you what their plans were. I think it's actually the 7th edition, but whatever. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised it happened today. Did not see that coming, that I'd wake up to Crawford being gone today. 30 minutes on the mark. A little bit longer than I like to go. But yeah, so what do you think? Would Dungeons and Dragons have evolved anyways, if not Gygax? I think so. I think something would have evolved. Castles and Crusades. If you want to talk the legacy of Gygax level-based fantasy, it's Castles and Crusades. I know people disagree with that, but sure, it's the last thing he worked on, and they're really doing the best. I mean, if you want to look for the best iterations of D20, level-based D20, SHADOWDARK, the stuff Kevin Crawford makes, Adventure Conqueror King 2nd edition, Vigilantes for SHADOWDARK by the OGGM obviously is the single best product out there that you can get that continues the tradition of level-based D20. I mean, really, it's really what you should be buying is Vigilantes for SHADOWDARK by the OGGM. But thank you, Wizards of the Coast. Thank you, Ian World. Thank you, Screen Rant. Thank you, Bell of Lost Souls. Thank you, me, for stumbling across this story and apparently being the first person to bring your attention to it. So if you're looking for alternatives to Dungeons and Dragons because, like me, you think that this is it, Castles and Crusades by Trollord Games, SHADOWDARK by our good friend Kelsey Dion over at the Arcane Library, Dungeon Crawl Classic from Goodman Games, any one of 5,000 Retro Clones OSR OGL games out there, and of course Vigilantes for SHADOWDARK by the OGGM. I don't know what else to tell you guys. This is, other than Jeremy Crawford's gone, and I think we all are sighing in relief. Hit the road, Jeremy, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jeremy, and don't you come back no more. What you say, oh Crawford, you're so mean, you're the meanest damn man I ever did see. You took a 50-year-old legacy and fucked it up, so don't talk to me.
We're laughing aloud now, magic in the air. Once were around us, cast away our care. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find. Spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. That's so easy for life is a spell we know. We're casting joy and glow. That's a wizard show. Mischief in the classroom, potions gone astray. Flying through the quad, now brighter every day. Laughter we cry hard, sneaking out at night. Cloaks in the moonlight, everything feels right.